once you get out past this inlet, it is turned on, I'll tell you what.
There he is! We're real excited. We're down in Hatteras, North Carolina. We just got in last night and we're looking to do some offshore game fishing. It's one of our favorite places to fish in the world. It's one of the best places on the East Coast to get after those offshore pelagic species with the quick run to the Gulf Stream here, shortest on the East Coast. So we're going to be doing some offshore fishing for tuna, wahoo, and dolphin. And we have Seth Stauffer and Noah Mulligan up here from South Florida, and we're going to put them to work and see what they can do up here in the offshore waters of Hatteras, North Carolina. Stay tuned.
How you doing? This is Seth Stauffer.
Noah Mulligan.
We're here with Smoke Show Productions here in Hatteras, North Carolina.
One of the most beautiful, good fishing places, I'd have to say, being from South Florida.
We flew up here about last week. We're on Sunday, here for a week. We're at a beautiful place here right in the harbor. Been fishing ever since.
Yeah.
So we started out today, we went out and we were, the plan was that I put together the night before. I've been talking to some of the locals now. We wanted to run straight out, and it was straight east out the inlet and hit the Gulf Stream. And then we were going to plan on running north. So we always had luck up that way and head up towards Diamond Shoals Tower depending on what we found. But it's like a search mission when you get out there. As soon as you get even a couple miles offshore, you want to keep your eyes open. Is there anything floating? Are there any birds? What's the water look like? What are you seeing? Sometimes the water breaks are pushed further in, sometimes they're pushed further out, but as soon as you're almost a mile or two just past that the end of the inlet there, you're in good water. So you want to keep an eye out, take a look at your electronics. That's what we were trying to do there, and make our way to the offshore waters.
Right now, we're about 10 miles offshore. A little bit of a rough ride coming out, but about 10 miles out here. Just drop the Wahoo bomb over the side. We've got a high-speed troll from Wahoo just on the way out here. We're probably about 6 miles away yet, but we see some flying fish schools breaking. The water looks nice and blue. The temperature breaks have been pretty far pushed inshore. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a nice day here. Set over there, bring it up, getting some of these ballyhoo ready to roll. Should be fishing here with the whole spread out here in the next 20 or so minutes, and we'll see what ends up happening.
When we got out there, we did end up finding, we ran about 15 miles off the coast, straight out, and we had a nice rip current line. And you know, when you see something like that, it doesn't always mean there's fish there, but if you're over some good bottom there, it's worthwhile just to stop there and put your baits out. You know, take a troll around, see if there's anything going on, and in fact, there was a lot of life there. Once we were on there, we knew we were going to have good fishing for the day. We didn't expect to get a hit up front that quick, but that wahoo was right on there. We just trolled down that line no more than 15 minutes, and boom, we hooked up right like that.
All right, here we are on the first fish. Fish is on them. Yep, got to keep fishing.
That was awesome, and while we were fighting the wahoo, we had one of the lures dangling in the water off the outrigger that we had reeled up, and that got hit by a dolphin. So we were on double fish right there, early start. We got, you know, right into the action. We were able to land both of those fish, and that's how we started off our day.
We're right on this end of the rig. That's where we're at. Look at them. fish, isn't it? Yeah, behind you. Yeah, I just threw that out this side. There he is. Nice. Don't let him off that gas. You got it on a nice rod too. Really? Okay. All right, so here's the story of what's going on. You can see out here, we just hit temperature break. There's 2 or 3 charter fleet boats behind us from Hatteras Harbor. And if you can see down there, it's just like some nervous water. Now this is right where 2 conflicting currents come butting together. The warmer water from the one side inshore and the cooler water from the inshore and the warmer water from the offshore. It creates like a break. There's no weeds or any of that out here right now, so this is what we're fishing. There's a lot of life in the area. We've seen a couple dozen flying fish about every 2 or 3 minutes, breaking the water there, and we just have our spread out here. That Wahoo bite happened quick, and just trolling a ballyhoo, it hit a blue and white, it was hooked real nicely there. And then while we were waiting for that, that dolphin came along and slammed it. When there's bait fish in the area, like these temperature breaks bring to the surface, they bring those upwellings from the bottom and bring up those nutrients, and it just starts off the food chain where the smaller fish eat the zooplankton, and the bigger fish, if the smaller fish are here, the bigger fish are going to be here. So this is where we're going to look to target the rest of the day. It's nice to see if there's no weed or structure out here. It's nice to see that there's at least a current edge that we can fish on. It's early here yet, so we're just going to keep on trolling here and see what happens. There's already 2 fish in a box, so it's already a successful day in my books. But we're going to keep fishing. Hopefully we can see some nice bill fishing here, so we got to get some of that live bait ready and have the fish bait ready to roll. This is the rig here that the dolphin hit. It's just a blue and pink Islander jet head. That dolphin just hit it while we were leaving the lines dangle in the water while we were fighting that Wahoo. We're going to get that re-rigged and back out there because the tip broke off it. So getting the trolling spread out, we continued down that line, and pretty quickly we had hooked up with another Mahi fish. Now they're a schooling fish, so the object there is to bring that fish to the back of the boat, and it'll bring the school of fish along with it. While keeping that first hooked fish in the water, you want to hook another fish, and then that'll keep the school at the back of the boat. The object is to always keep one hooked fish in the water at all times to keep that school there, but sometimes that's easier said than done. Live bait down here in Hatteras is especially important, as it is in South Florida, where Seth and Nolan came from. But they really wanted us to use some of the live bait and see what the dolphin would do with that live bait.
All right, now we're getting ready to go offshore tomorrow. We're going to try to catch a few live baits. Here in the harbor, kind of collects a lot of pinfish and menhaden. But when we're offshore, those dolphin, they love the live bait. So what we're going to try to do is get a few of them with the cast net. We got a 6-foot cast. Not much, but it'll do the job for where we are. Now when I cast this, what you do is let the yank down, get it around the top of the net, make sure that you have your slack over your shoulder, because you don't want that getting tangled in the net. Then I grab one length down, tuck it into my holding hand, then reach out enough, and then what you do is just one swoop.
If you get some live bait like Seth procured in the sound, we just had a 6-foot cast net. Use some of that live bait and keep it in a nice bait bin. I mean, you'll get some serious action going on out there when you get into a school mahi. We were just throwing baitfuls, scooping out a live ball, throwing them in the water, and then just live lining them back on a small, hook there, hook them through the back of the tail so they swim away from the boat, and they're taking off and the dolphin were just crushing them. It was really neat to watch. I haven't ever really done that before, fishing a live bait for the mahi, but every time now we're going to go out there, we're going to have that live bait ready to go. You never know what you're going to find, And this time, that just the reaction of those fish flashing through the water after those live baits, just a real neat thing to see. There really isn't anything much more fun than catching some of those mahi on that light tackle. That's an absolute blast. After picking up 14 or 15 of those fish, we decided to reset out to the trolling spread and head up towards the Diamond Shoals Tower. There's some real nice drop-offs that go from about 65 to 125 feet deep right there, and we were looking to pick up another wahoo.
Got up to the tower and it was really, the current was ripping through there. It was heading, I'd say it was heading north. And we fished there for about, I'd say, a good 30 minutes. We got into position. We wanted to go around that tower. Yeah, come into the current pool and he missed it. And then we went, yeah, I bet it was chasing it. Came up out, and then once he was out, he stayed back there.
Is he off? He's off.
But then we gave it about another minute, and then all of a sudden that line, the left long line, just started screaming.
There he is. Cut that clip. Go on.
And at this point we were a little nervous because we didn't want to get back in underneath the tower where he surely would have broke off.
Drifting back into it as he fighting.
So I was kind of holding it, and as my dad was trying to run to get us away from the tower so that we didn't have that cut off.
Get that other one. Circle around. Could be a big dolphin too. They're probably gonna jump. He's down. There he is. There you go, Casey. Dolphin. Dolphin. Amberjack. 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 Yeah. You got underwater?
I think so.
What do you say, bro? They fight like hell.
It was a good,
They fight like
I'd say
hell.
10-15 minute fight, and it was one of those big amberjacks.
Heavy suckers.
Big heavy. They like to fight, man. They'll
Yellow
pull you
jacks
for a
will
while.
fight like crazy. Amberjack.
They're really big and heavy, and he was good. I don't know. I'd say he's probably 50 pounds, 50 to 60. We were trolling around for a little bit more. Wasn't too much going on, and then off in the distance at the one long line, I definitely saw a big long flash that was across the surface. Seemed like something swam up to the bait and checked it out, but didn't end up taking it. I don't know what he didn't like it or something. So after that, we decided to start trolling away from the tower and kind of moseying our way in, and we headed out for about 30 more minutes, and then we pulled up our lines, and it was about 3 o'clock, and we decided to make the run back in, which...
About 5 minutes into the run back in.
Yeah.
See, I seen a nice billfish cut right in front of the boat.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
I seen his big back just...
No, was
I'm
it?
not sure
Do you
what
think
it was. Sail was down, fin was down.
So how big do you think it was? You'd say like 6 foot?
Yeah, 6 to 8 foot.
Hey, he's
6,
just
7
cruising in
foot.
front of the boat, or?
Yeah, cut across cut across the bow this way.
But at this
It's
point,
nice and,
we were
easy.
already blasting in and weren't even ready for it, so we're just continued on our way, and it took us a good 2 hours
Yeah, it was a
to
serious
get back
ride
in. That was a little bit of a haul.
A
So
bit bumpy.
it was
but-
bumpy.
Yeah, being from Fort Lauderdale, fishing, the Keys, Isla Morada, fishing capital, this, that, and the other. Once you get out past this inlet, that it is turned on. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
We found that slick. It was just so much life, so much action.
And I think the problem in Florida is that there's a lot more
There's a lot
traffic
there,
on the
but
water. Like
here's-
there's a lot more fishermen that are. It's really easy to get out to there. So when you get up here, you know, aside from the charter fleet and a handful of fishermen that are in town at the time, you're pretty much the only people out there, and that means that, you know, the weed lines haven't been picked clean first thing in the morning.
Yeah, everyone
you can,
spreads out.
you can always move into a new area, and there's a lot of, you know, good spots out there that you can just pick up on. All the offshore fishing is just great. I mean, the tuna aren't in town right now. It's a little late in the summer for them to be around, but you can still,
Yeah, I've seen and
You get
heard
into
of
a-
what, 10, 12 species. of
yeah, there's a
good
lot
eating
of
fish.
different.
Spanish mackerel right
Pelagic
here. We got
species.
some flounder.
You know, we came down here at Hatteras. We got Casey's first Wahoo. We got Nolan and Seth on some nice fish there, and I was glad they could make it up from Florida and see what it's like to fish up here on the East Coast. We're gonna do it again soon. Thanks for checking us out on this week's episode. You can check out Smoke Show Outdoors for more videos like this and tips at smokeshowoutdoors.com. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook.